Have you ever wondered why we hide our scars? We put on makeup, we pull down our sleeves, we crop our photos. All because we don't want the world to see the marks we've carried through life. But let me ask you something. If I ask you right now to think of one scar you have, where does your mind go? Maybe it's the one on your knee from falling off a bike. Or maybe it's not on your skin at all. Maybe it's the one you've carried here, inside. Because what about the scars that never show up in the mirror? The ones no bandage can cover. The ones that don't bleed, but change the way we see ourselves. What if the very scar we tried so hard to hide are actually proof that we healed? Proof that we fought, and proof that we survived. Every scar tells a story. Some are loud and visible, shouting to the world, "Something happened here." Others are quiet, hidden under our uniforms, our laughter, and our "I'm okay" smiles. And so today, I invite you, not just to listen to my story, but to reflect on yours as well. Because we all carry scars. Growing up, I collected visible scars like childhood souvenirs. A line on my forehead from a slip in a rice field, a stitched knee from falling into a rocky canal. They were proof that I had survived small battles. But the scar that shaped me the most, you wouldn't notice it if you look at me. Each scar was a little reminder. I fell, I got hurt, and I got back up. But as I grew older, I realized the scars that changed us the most are rarely the ones people can see. Invisible scars are quiet. They don't demand attention. They don't announce themselves like a bandage on your knee. But they leave the marks that shape who we are, and sometimes who we are becoming. My first invisible scar came with my very first love, taekwondo. I was 9 when I first stepped onto the mat. At first, it was just a summer hobby with my sister. But soon, I was hooked. I loved everything about it. The echo of our shouts in the gym, the sting of a bruise that felt like a badge of honor, the thrill of landing the perfect kick. I wasn't the best. I was small, a blinket fighter. I remember being kicked out of the ring, literally, by older, taller opponents. I left the venue in tears, walking home like a broken lollipop. But the next day, I showed up again, because taekwondo taught me this. Even if it hurts, you show up anyway. I was older now, and taekwondo was still in my life. I had a regional competition coming up, a chance to fight for my dream again. But the next day, I felt a sharp pain in my stomach. I thought it was just nerves, or maybe too much merienda. It wasn't. It was appendicitis. The next thing I knew, I was in a hospital gown, post-surgery, with a new scar on my stomach and a new heartbreak in my chest. Because the visible scars, the little line across my belly didn't hurt as much as the invisible one. The little line, that scar that formed when I realized my dream had slipped away. I wasn't just out of the competition. I was out of taekwondo for a whole year. That silence, that absence, that loss became my first invisible scar. Life, however, has a way of taking our scars and turning them into paths. While I was healing, my teacher invited me to join a school journalism contest. I had no idea what editorial writing even was, but I said yes, not because I was passionate, but because it meant skipping class for 3 days. Hashtag honest and hashtag feeling blessed. And I thought, how hard could it be? Just give my opinion and hope the judges agree? But the moment I sat in front of a blank page, I felt something familiar. It wasn't a kick, or a shout, or a punch. It was the focus, the adrenaline, the rhythm. It felt just like sparring. My kicks had become words, my arena had changed, but the fighter in me had not. Losing taekwondo had opened the door to something new. My first invisible scar didn't end my story. It redirected it. Then, another one scar came. I was older now, and taekwondo was again still in my life. I had a regional competition coming up, a chance to fight for my dream again. But the day before I traveled, I received a call. My best friend had died. Her funeral was on the same day I had to leave. With this, I had to choose to stay and say goodbye or go and fight for her. But I chose to fight. Every kick and every move was for her. But I won the gold medal. And when I held it in my hands, it didn't feel like victory. It felt like a scar, another invisible one. Because sometimes, the heaviest scars came from the choices we never wanted to make. We all have scars. Some the world can see, and some only we can feel. But what if, instead of hiding them, we let them speak? Because scars don't just say, I was hurt. They whisper, I survived, I grew, and I transformed. So, I leave you with this. When you look at your own scars, whether they are written on your skin or hidden in your heart, ask yourself, what story do they carry? What path might they be pointing to you? And what if one day you realize that scar becomes the reason someone else finds the courage to heal? Thank you.